online and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 10.
Breaking news for you now. There are some questions tonight about the future for employees at a trucking company that has an office in Fargo.
A sign on the door at LME Trucking or Lakeville Motor Express at 311 39th Street North says it's closed. LME Inc. is a Midwestern-based operation that provided service to several states, including Minnesota, Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, and Wisconsin. The company's website is down, but a screen grab sent to us earlier indicated that LME would no longer be accepting any future pickups.
When he was putting himself on me, I reached my hand over and it's I had texted my friend to help come get me.
A 14-year-old boy is in juvenile detention facing a charge of a sexual attack on a 16-year-old girl during summer school. Valley News Live has confirmed with police the attack happened Monday at Fargo South. And now the girl who says she was attacked and her mom are willingly speaking out exclusively to Valley News Team's Melanie Palmer.
You don't expect someone to follow you into the bathroom, period, and it's just why would someone that young do it?
The 16-year-old says this has been a life-changing moment for her. We are not identifying the teen or her mom because of the allegations of the sexual assault. However, they tell us they wanted to speak out to make sure this never happens to anyone else again.
When you're in that situation, you freeze, you don't know what to do. I was backing up. It's I wanted to get as far away as possible.
This teenager tells us her classes were wrapping up for the day and she was heading for the bathroom. That's when she says she was cornered and sexually assaulted by the boy.
Have you ever seen him before that?
No, I just met him that day.
Eventually, she tells us she was able to get to her phone and call a friend for help. She says there was no teachers or faculty around. And that's what has this 16-year-old and her mom so upset.
Oh, it makes anger. It makes me sick. It makes me sick because you don't want something like that to happen to a kid.
On top of that, this mom thinks this could have all been prevented if there was a teacher or school resource officer around. We brought these concerns to Fargo Public Schools. The spokesperson there tells us they do not have school resource officers at the schools in the summer months. And faculty was heading out since it was the end of the school day. But this whole event, as you might expect, traumatized this 16-year-old.
I've been having mental breakdowns at random points because it's just people say certain things and it just kind of hits me all at once.
What's more, she tells us she's not really sure if she wants to keep going to Fargo South. But her mother has already made some decisions.
To me, the school district failed, and that's what I will continue to say.
She says she's contacted an attorney and isn't going to stop fighting until something is changed. In Fargo, Melanie Palmer, Valley News Live.
Fargo police tell us they're continuing to investigate this case and could not give further details since it involves minors. A spokesperson with the school district did tell us one student is no longer involved in summer school programming.
A woman was cited after police say they found dozens of cats in her minivan in downtown Fargo today. It happened on NP Avenue and the van was not running. Police say nearly 30 cats were removed from the van and taken to an area shelter. The woman was cited for unattended animals in a car.
The mother of a Fergus Falls baby who was abused while in daycare wants to know why the man convicted in this case was let out early. Back in May, Tyrone Anderson was convicted of endangering a child in domestic assault and was released after 40 days. That's 20 days earlier than the sentence. The mother of the baby, Casey Grant, says the court never mentioned Anderson could be released for good behavior, and that was confirmed by Otter Tail County authorities. Lieutenant Jim Stewart says it's important for victims to ask questions while in court.
Most of them have never been a victim before. It's the first time, and it's a confusing process sometimes. And maybe sometimes the court doesn't always let people know that there's credit for good time or credit for time that's already been served.
Here at Valley News Live, we do have resources for victims to find out custody status information and receive notifications of an inmate's release. For more information, go to our website, valleynewslive.com, and click on this story.
All Airport 21684, Highway 10 for an airplane crash. 21684, Highway 10.
A 911 recording details the calls between emergency responders after a specialized plane crash in Clay County. The pilot and lone occupant of the plane died in that crash.
Although the victim's name has not been released, a family member did tell us that the victim flew his gyrocopter as a hobby. Valley News Team's Joshua Peguero has the latest.
The call sounded like chaos as emergency responders went to an aircraft crash near Hawley along Highway 10.
In case we got multiple injuries with this plane crash, didn't know how many we got dealing with.
It was a Clay County deputy who first arrived at the crash site just after noon.
I just let you know about the crash.
Within minutes, it was all hands on deck as several agencies were dispatched to the scene.
Yeah, they reported an aircraft crash at the Hawley Airport. There's someone possibly in the plane that's on fire. We're getting multiple phone calls at this time.
The craft would later be identified as a gyrocopter, which is like a small helicopter usually operated by one person. During radio communication, emergency responders talked about the number of resources devoted to the crash and how it was impacting response times to other emergency calls.
You can cancel where I'm at if you have one patient that's a DOA. I got one other bystander that's got some slight burns to his hand that he received from pulling the victim out.
Although injured, the individual who pulled the victim out did not require medical attention at a hospital. As we mentioned earlier, we're still waiting for the victim's name to be released. Also, we don't know the cause. A federal investigator is expected to be in tomorrow to begin that process. Mike?
All right, thank you, Joshua. The plane crashed south of the Hawley Airport's single runway. That runway is closed. Will likely stay that way until the investigation wraps up.
Investigators have released a preliminary report on the crash of a North Memorial Air Care helicopter that killed 2 crew members and critically injured a third near Brainerd. The report offers a closer look at the events that unfolded early the morning of June 28th. The chopper was returning to its home base in Brainerd shortly before 1 a.m. after delivering a patient to North Memorial Medical Center in Robbinsdale, descending from an altitude of 6,000 feet when the crash happened. There was no evidence of a post-crash fire, but the ground near the wreck was soaked with fuel that leaked.
Year-round school is among controversial ideas laid out by Fargo School Board today to address future overcrowding. School board members brainstormed on how to relieve overcrowding at Davies and Discovery schools while still giving students access to quality education. They whittled down their ideas to 3 options until a new Southside school can be built. Those options are boundary changes, year-round school at Davies and Discovery, and a 9th grade academy. Research will be done on these ideas and presented to the school board on August 13th.
Federal authorities are preparing to begin a nationwide roundup of 2,000 undocumented immigrants.
As Gabe Gutierrez reports, the move is prompting waves of fear.
Tonight, 2 senior Homeland Security officials tell NBC News that nationwide arrests of undocumented immigrants are scheduled to start Sunday, conducted by Immigration and Customs Enforcement in at least 10 major cities, including Los Angeles, Chicago, Atlanta, Miami, and New York. ICE won't comment on enforcement operations. Across the country today, swift outrage. Several protesters arrested in Buffalo, New York. The president had postponed the roundup, but last week said it would begin fairly soon.
I say they came in illegally, and we're bringing them out legally.
People are concerned.
Hiba Galib is an immigration attorney in Atlanta. What are you telling your clients right now?
We're saying things to them like, don't answer your door if somebody knocks in the middle of the night. If it's an official from the government, they need to have a warrant if they're going to come to your home.
Stephanie Lopez is a DACA recipient who worries about who'd care for her young siblings if her undocumented parents were deported.
It breaks my heart to hear him say or even think about not having his mom.
When you heard about these planned raids, what went through your head?
It just creates a lot of fear, and no one knows if they're going to knock your door next.
Families arrested during this sweep could be flown to detention centers in Texas and Pennsylvania while they await deportation. Plans are still being finalized.
In the last decade, the state's population has become more diverse. The Pew Research Center says that North Dakota had the fastest growth rate of any state last year. The Hispanic population grew by 135%. The population went from more than 12,000 to 29,000 people. Researchers say, despite the increase, the state ranked 49th among the 50 states in its overall Hispanic population in 2018.
Compared to 2004 till a few years ago, I could say there was a large increase because I was getting a lot of Hispanic customers into the store and the restaurant.
A census report from North Dakota says there's also been a large increase in African Americans since 2010.
Valley News Live 10 at 10 continues with no wait weather.
Well, our Valley Sky Cam capturing an awesome time lapse tonight. We did have the setting sun, crystal clear skies as we head into the evening hours. On the far left, a thunderstorm trying to form out near the Sykeston area, and up to the north is where we think things tonight have the potential to get a little on the severe side. Hail and damaging straight line wind gusts will be the main threat, but we can't rule out an isolated brief tornado as well. Anywhere in the dark greens or the yellows where we have the best chance at seeing some strong thunderstorms. Right now, a look at what's going on the radar. A lot of lightning and thunder with this cell that's approaching the Kitson County area right now. And here's the activity off to the west. We'll show you a view of that momentarily. But for right now, we have this storm cell moving to the southeast at about 20 miles per hour. So it will take it still about a half hour to an hour before it reaches the northern border. And this one capable of producing some sizable hail right now in excess of 3/4 of an inch in diameter. 72 Baudette, 74 Bemidji, and Grand Forks right now you're at 75 degrees. Down to the south, temperatures not too much warmer, a lot of 70s out there. And here's a look at that thunderstorm cell. Little anvil-shaped cloud that is right near the Sykeston area and approaching you folks in the Carrington area. It had some lightning moments ago, but it's quieted down substantially. It's not severe. And here's a look at your planning forecast, your current conditions at Hector. 76 degrees right now. The gusty winds have finally subsided. They're still from the south at around 10 miles per hour. Okay, our forecast model shows that as this little cool front works its way southward, it's going to initiate a few storms, potentially, as we head into the late night hours. Between 10 and midnight, these storms march from the Northern Valley through parts of northwest Minnesota. And this is when the best chance of anything severe will be. As we go through the early morning hours, they skedaddle fairly quickly, with temperatures first thing in the morning in the 60s for most areas. And we'll have a few clouds remnant from this cool front as it's working its way through. Now, the first part of your day tomorrow on Friday, absolutely delightful. We're expecting light winds and temperatures that'll be very comfortable across most of the region. Notice the warmer red colors down to the south. That's where the heat is expected to be just a little higher, but not obnoxiously so. In the afternoon, temperatures will be in the 70s in northwest Minnesota, and a warm up as we go to the south and to the west. Once again, tomorrow evening, there'll be a chance of some storms moving out of the central Dakotas into eastern North Dakota. And as far as severe goes, we're not anticipating widespread severe tomorrow, but we'll keep you updated on that potential as we move right along. For the morning hours, mid-60s, warming up to the low 80s, crystal clear skies for most of the day, and any thunderstorm chances should hold off until after the 10 o'clock hour for Fargo. Your 5 o'clock planner looks like temperatures will be in the 80s from the Red River Valley to the west and to the south. More 70s along the international border through northwest Minnesota and into northern portions of Lakes Country. Play ball, great play ball weather for most of our day tomorrow. This is a shot from the Enderlin area by Nicole. Thanks, Nicole, for uploading your photo. Now, Saturday looks a little warmer, and it does look like a chance of some afternoon and evening thunderstorms once again. Sunday, that chance of storms increases a bit for more of us, but look at those temperatures. 90 to close out the weekend, still near 90 on Monday with a chance of scattered storms. Quieter as we go into midweek for Tuesday and Thursday, but storms in the forecast once again on Wednesday.
Oh, well, hot days ahead of us.
Some warm days.
Yeah, thanks, Hutch.
You bet.
Later on Valley News Live 10 at 10, those sodas and sugary drinks that a lot of people enjoy could be contributing to cancer.